Well, good day, everybody. Welcome to the Bible in the year 2021. We are on day 112, and we are doing, hold on to your hats, Psalm 6, 8, 9, 10, 14, 16, 19, and 21 today. Yeah, so you know that we're just going to be barely touching on each of those. But as I've said before, the Psalms are so incredibly personal. Um, that you guys are getting your own stuff from it. I have no doubt. So let's just start with Psalm 6 here. And this is all because of Yahweh's faithful love. This is what Jonathan, this is what David is writing about here. Um, and he's very good at expressing his emotions. David comes across just like just a normal person, like not a highfalutin prophet or high priest, or he's just a guy from the fields, and he's very good at expressing the emotions of the things that he's facing, and that is why he's so identifiable. We can identify with David so much because everything that he expresses, we have faced at one time or another. Maybe not the exact same things as him, but the same kind of situations, same kind of emotions. Um, so yeah, what I really appreciate about this psalm is the expression of hope. Um, that David finds in Yahweh's goodness. And I cannot stress that enough. I preach on it all the time. I talk about it all the time. Listen, you cannot have a faithful relationship with Father unless you're absolutely convinced He's for you, unless you're absolutely convinced that He's good, unless you're absolutely convinced that what He wants for humanity is nothing but the best. Um, David in this, and this is good to make note of as well. He didn't say, I'm righteous, so save me." Instead, he said, "Because save me because of your faithful love, because of who you are." When I'm praying with somebody and I'm praying healing over them, I don't pray because they're good. I pray because Father is good. I pray because Jesus is good. He told us to do this because He is good. That I have the confidence that I have that authority to pray healing into those persons. Um, because really, in comparison to God, there's like none of us is good. We're just not, and we are where we are because of Him, and that keeps us in a place of humility. So, just a verse here in verse 4: "Come back to me, Lord, deliver me, save me for the sake of your faithful love, because of your faithful love." Then just touch on Psalm 8 here, and this is a beautiful psalm of worship. David is recognizing Yahweh again as the creator of all things, the governor of all things, um, and you recognizing yet here that Yahweh did this really weird thing, and he gave us authority over the earth. That takes us back to the garden when he first told Adam that he was to look after everything, um, and 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 then after the flood, um, he gave that responsibility to Noah. It was different. It wasn't the same way. It was lesser, okay. Um, it was a lesser thing that he gave to Noah. I have here Moses, but it was Noah, and with Adam, it was beautiful. It was just like he's going to be living in this place of beauty with all of creation. But with Noah, it was yeah, like all of creation is going to be afraid of you. I put creation and like the earth under you, but like it's going to be a thing of fear. But what we have here in Psalm 8, verses 4 to 6, what are human beings that you think about them? What are human beings that you pay attention to them? You've made them only slightly less than divine, crowning them with glory and grandeur. You've let them rule over your handiwork, putting everything under their feet. In Psalm 9, um, David's dealing with Yahweh's justice, and David absolutely trusted Yahweh's justice all the way through it. He knew that things would work out, not because he was waiting for them to just how we can have that attitude, oh, it'll work out. It wasn't that at all. But David didn't take the vengeance himself because he trusted Yahweh's justice. He didn't take things into his own hands because he trusted Yahweh's justice. Um, so he's lifting up and encouraging everyone to find hope in this justice. He's encouraging people to run to the Lord when they're distressed by this world, and he in the process he's reminding himself, and that's how it is that he encouraged himself. We had that scripture that talked about he encouraged himself in the Lord. You encourage yourself in the Lord by remembering your testimony. You remember what the Lord has done for you. You remember his goodness. You remember those acts. You remember those things that he's given to you as testimony that are tangible that you can hold on to. And that's what he's doing. He's in this reminding, or calling out to people. He's also reminding himself of this great justice, because that's what he's hoping for in this moment. So we just read there in verse 9 and 10, the Lord is a safe place for the oppressed, a safe place in difficult times. Those who know your name trust you because you have not abandoned any who seek you, Lord. Then in Psalm 10, we see this longing for Yahweh's justice to be established. He really wants the whole earth to live according to this justice. He wants it in place because he knows that justice is a thing of perfection. And it's in contrast to the current world. This is something that would put everything in order. And he just longed to see that this justice established as the way of life for everybody. Um, isn't it funny though that he knew the final outcome, that nations would disappear, and Yahweh's rule will be set in place. That's our longing, isn't it? Um, and we wait for that day. So, Lord, you listen to the desires of those who suffer. You study their hearts. You listen closely to them to establish justice for the orphan and the oppressed, so the people of the land will never again be terrified. And then we have David's evaluation here in Psalm 14. David really didn't have the best experience with humanity. It was not turning out well. He had been lied to, deceived, hunted down, betrayed. And what he witnessed as the condition of people in this world would certainly make him a better king when he saw the way people were treated, when he saw the injustice that was in the land. That was something important to him, and it made him such a better king. But it also kind of jaded his view of humanity. Um, if jaded is the right word to use there. So we see in Psalm 14 and 1, fools say in their hearts, there is no God. They are corrupt and do evil things. Not one of them does anything good. Yeah. Psalm 16. David here is really acknowledging that everything good comes from the hand of the Lord. That everything, and everything good that is in our life, we have to credit to the Lord. Even if you can't make the connection, if you don't see how the dots are connected, it doesn't matter. Just know that fact that every good thing that is in your life has come from the hand of the Lord. It may have come through many people, but it's Him who has created that thing to be in your life. So David acknowledges that aside from the Lord, he has nothing. In this psalm, it's really hard just to find one verse that summarizes it, because it's so beautiful. It's so it just takes in so much. It's like Have you ever stood at a landscape, maybe partway up a mountain or something of the sort, maybe beside a huge river, and you take a picture, but that picture just cannot it just cannot do any justice to what you're seeing with the naked eye, and that's what it's like to try to take one verse out of the psalm. It's just a little snapshot, just a little, but you're missing all the rest of it. Um, yeah. What's important here is that David lifts up Yahweh as the one who has formed him for who he is in this moment. So often we worry about tomorrow and the day after and the year after, but what we have is right now. And you may never remember this moment right now. Those memories may be lost to you. They may be lost to your child. They may be lost to whoever you're involved in. Maybe you hold on to the memory, or maybe it's just going to be another day. So, what's important is that you live and enjoy this moment because you may not get to taste it again. And that's what it's like. It's in this moment. Okay, in this moment there's this acknowledgement. David, I don't know if you've had those moments. You've just had this incredible either revelation or inspirational moment or something that just has struck you. And you think, I need to write that down. There's no pen, paper, your cell phone's not there. And yeah, I'll remember this because this is just incredible. And you taste it and it's so wonderful. But then a few hours later, you go to write it down and you can't recapture that. That's the divine moments I'm talking about. Those things that were just there to encourage you in that moment, to encourage you there. It's changed you a bit, but you can't really put your finger on it. Yeah. Verse 11. You teach me the way of life. In your presence is total celebration. Beautiful things are always in your right hand. Everything good, every moment. Even if you don't get to hold on to that moment, every moment is good. It's from the Lord. And then David is because of the relationship with Yahweh is so important. David is like he's concerned about these accidental sins, these things that you do and you don't even know that you did wrong and you've done it. Like maybe some of you can understand what I mean. And it's just an absolute beautiful psalm that acknowledges how Yahweh can be seen both in creation and the law of instruction that He has given to us. He speaks through both. He reveals Himself through both. And David followed those instructions and found success in the Lord, and that was so important to him. But his ongoing concern was always the offenses that he wasn't aware of. And the last verse beautifully describes the desire of David's heart. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. And then the last psalm, Psalm 21. Um, we find here a contrast. David makes it clear where his success has come from. That's good. He acknowledges that every good thing is received was from the Lord, and that is good. He credits the steadiness of his reign to his faithfulness in Yahweh's instructions and because of Yahweh's love. So important that we recognize this. But then he contrasts this with the fate of the wicked and those who will not follow instruction and turn from the Lord. So he compares what he has to what others have. He compares to how long lasting it will be what he has compared to the very temporary thing that other people get to experience. And he says, because the king trusts the Lord and because of the Most High's faithful love, he will not stumble. It's just beautiful how that works together. We follow, uh, because we trust the Lord, we follow his instructions and find success. And we also find that success because of the Most High's faithful love. It's this beautiful relationship that we have with him. So yeah, wasn't so bad, right? So so glad you guys are with me today. And the Psalms can sometimes, especially when you go through so many, can just be overwhelming. But don't lose the beauty of them. Go back and refresh yourself in them later if need be. But don't allow the quantity of them to take away the quality, because they're absolutely precious to us. So you guys have a wonderful and blessed day, and we'll see you here again tomorrow. God bless.